In a minute, we're going to be joined by Dan McDowell. He's in Cleveland. But first, we're going to tell you about one of our fine sponsors here, one that Blake is very familiar with, and one that I'm about to become very familiar with. That is Ownwell.
Oh, yeah? Taking the plunge?
Oh, yeah. You know why? There's no reason not to. Ownwell's going to help you save money on your property taxes, and if they can't, you won't pay them. 86% of people will save money on their property taxes. They will have a reduced bill, and if you're part of that 14%, you don't pay anything. Blake, however, was part of that 86%.
Oh, yeah. They saved me a little bit of money. Sign up takes 3 minutes. It's very low risk, high reward. If you're thinking about doing it on your own, don't. Don't waste your time. Let the experts do it. 86% of people in the Metroplex save money. You can too. And why not do it? It's property time in Texas.
I got my notice yesterday.
Oh, they're coming in the mail right now.
Taxes,
sure.
And
you got until Jan 31.
Higher than last year.
Yeah.
It's only going one way, Danny.
I'm doing this too. You said it's 3 minutes to register and
put a timer on it.
Get in there? Really?
Put a timer on it. Now, you may be thinking,
I got 3 minutes. You know what I don't have time for? Getting all of the, whatever it's called, documents and DCAD or whatever that website is to get comparable properties in your neighborhood.
Don't need it.
And wait in line on a phone call to talk to some dude that's going to save you zero money.
Got to pretend like you're Mr. Smith goes to Washington and you're standing there in front of some government body. That's not for you. You need one website, Danny.
What is it, Jake?
Ownwell.com/partners/thedumbzone. All right? That's what you do.
Tonight.
You save money. Hundreds of dollars on average. You can do anything you want with that money.
Connect with Ownwell tonight. Ownwell. What's up?
Oh, y'all are waiting on this, aren't you?
I think it was worth it. All right, let's go now live to Cleveland. We hope. What's up, dude?
Look at him.
Pick up the energy, boys. Come on. Let's go.
We're
going to do a 2-minute spot. Let's make them a little more exciting.
Look, we have the same energy as a man who decided to not make his bed today.
Oh, yeah. What is that? Don't you listen to Jordan?
Who makes their bed?
Don't you listen to Jordan
I'll just be
Peterson?
getting in it tonight.
Come on, man. That's so unlike you.
I just had a romp. I had a romp in there.
You haven't had a romp in maybe ever, but definitely not.
Dude, I'm romping.
Definitely not in 30 years.
Romping with the left hand. It's all great. All fun here.
I'm disappointed to learn you don't make up your
Cleveland,
bed.
Ohio. Excuse me?
I'm disappointed to learn you don't make your bed. Like you just,
okay.
You seem like that type of guy.
That bothers me. Huh?
You just seem like that type of guy.
Do I?
Yeah.
No one goes in your bedroom. No reason to make the bed at all.
I completely agree.
It was always one of the most illogical rules that your parents had growing up. Make sure you make your bed. Who's going to go in there except for me again later, and then mess it up?
You should set your
standards high. Don't give me your
high.
Marine crap. Oh man, I bet you. At least I did that. Like, okay, whatever, Marine.
Marine.
Jarhead. Go back.
Yeah. Go back to where?
Vietnam.
I don't know where you came from.
Well, what's going on in Cle?
I'm reporting live from a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. This is Westlake, Ohio. As you know, I'm back.
Yes.
So actually, let me. I have a huge game report for you, but first, let me just give you an update on my hotel. So I told you on Friday, the location of the hotel was very close to a very famous landmark here in the Northeast Ohio area. However, it was unfortunate. I didn't get to choose my room, and I was looking the opposite way. I think I was looking over like some kind of a fish restaurant or something. So, which is nice, but it wasn't the fish I was looking for. So, last night I got in my room. Rob, we can fire up this video. I actually, this is when I checked back in because I left for a day to go. My buddy Joe's slept over his house Saturday night.
It is a nice room.
It is a nice room, yeah.
Look at the
thanks.
beds.
Double queens. I like two queens.
Oh yeah,
I like two queens over a king nowadays.
100%. You know what I do with that? Or yeah, just why don't you walk us through first? I see it right there, baby. A beacon.
Okay, we walk over to the picture window. What do you call that? A bay window.
Not a bay.
And now we are looking at the majesty of not only the Cheesecake Factory,
but the parking lot,
which we love. But yeah, let's focus on the parking lot of the Cheesecake Factory. And it's not just limited, if you remember being there, behind the cheese. It actually extends out. So like, where was Baker and Baker Head Girl? Were they over here by the trees? Were they, up close to the Crocker Road? Who knows? Were they, right behind the Cheesecake Factory so that the back of her ponytail could be illuminated by that red, orangish glow?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe they were even feeling some electrons from the Cheesecake Factory and it's flowing right through her, and then his electrons
flowed through her.
Yeah, and then the vape situation.
Sure.
We remember everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my room is now over. It's the most scenic, the most coveted scenic room. It's the highest floor, high atop the 6th floor of this hotel, overlooking the Cheesecake Factory parking lot. So if he's out there or somebody's out there tonight, I'll be watching. I'm scoping it out. I'm like Rear Window. That's not a good reference. I'm like someone on The Wire. I'm like Bunk on a stakeout.
Okay.
Did Bunk ever do a stakeout?
I'm interested in the go back to the same hotel. Is that? I mean, I guess if they have yogurt, why mess with perfection? But I think I like to mix it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know it's a good hotel.
Yeah.
It's close to where my mom lives.
Yeah, the two queens is definitely the move. I don't know if I had started doing this before I learned this from Sam Anderson and the Quaker City Nighthawks, or if I just started. I eat on that bed. I'll have a food bed.
Oh, okay. And mine is more of that's where I lay my clothes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like to have a bed over there that I'll
got
go
the dirty clothes pile, the clean clothes
if
pile.
I order a pizza and remember to get it when I'm at a hotel, I'll eat over there, because a lot of times
New Jake should remember that.
There's not really anywhere to eat in most hotel rooms. They might have like the little desk, but I like to just lounge and watch TV and eat, and then be like, well, now I'm just going to go to the place where I actually sleep because it doesn't have tomato sauce everywhere.
I was thinking of you
when the maid comes
yesterday.
in, they think that I'm having probably
bloody bung.
Yeah,
You don't want bloody bung in a hotel. Yeah,
out of state Dan.
Guy from experience. You do not want bloody bung in a hotel.
I'm surprised that you, being a tallish man like myself, wouldn't opt for the single king, because I love a king-size bed alone. It's the best.
I used to, but now I do like that extra bed just to throw shit on.
Sure. You thought of me yesterday.
That's the effing bed.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do a little effing in that bed and soil that bed up.
And
you had just said I did think of you yesterday, so I was trying to get you to continue your...
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought of you yesterday eating, actually, because I know you love the car tray.
Oh, yeah.
And you love Taco Bell. So I've recently become a real big fan of the Taco Bell black bean crunch wrap.
Yeah. Hey, this ain't your grandpa's Taco Bell, bud.
Do you eat that while you're on your skateboard with your Mountain Dew on the other hand?
Baja Blast.
So my buddy Joe lives on the other side of town, 40 minutes on the other side of Cleveland. This is 40 minutes on the west side of Cleveland. He lives on the affordable side of the Metroplex. Anyway, I ordered a couple of those babies, and I'm eating them while driving. And it's a little, messy. And I just thought Jake would never do. Would Jake, if he had this, hour and a half drive ahead of him, and it was getting to be dusk and all that kind of stuff, would he just park at Taco Bell, eat it, and then go? Or would he?
Without a doubt, yeah.
Would he live life to the fullest like I do?
No, and especially given the way you drive, I'm surprised that that's ever even an option. But I guess someone who drives aggressively is just living aggressively. I mean, you're
aggressive.
No, not aggressively. That's not maybe someone who drives.
I was driving with my knee.
Who's not conservative about it. I am. And the other thing too is Taco Bell. One of the things I really enjoy is their sauces. Big Fire guy, big Diablo guy. What I like to do is order the chips and cheese, dump a bunch of Diablo in there, mix it up with the chip, Now I got like a smoky queso type thing, and I got to have that. You're not getting that while you're driving. You need a tray to take full advantage of the sauces.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're a professional eat driver like myself, you would never order nachos because they're not practical for.
Yeah, that's why I can order them and I sit in my car and eat them. And the best thing is when someone pulls up next to me and they're trying to eat and they got beans falling out the ass of the burrito. It's all over them. And they look over and they see me and they're like, oh my God. You know, it's like when we go to like Asia and see their public transit. We're like, how did they figure this out? They look at me and they're like, that guy's from the future.
Well, then why even go to the drive-thru? Why not just dine in?
No,
Okay, so actually the drive-thru was 5 deep, so I went in. And I go up to order, and the kid goes, you can't order here. You can only go order at the kiosk.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've run into that.
I'm like, what?
Blake
And
ran
he goes,
into it on our road trip.
Since we renovated, we don't take money. I'm like, well, but they could take my credit card over there right at the window. What if we pretend that, like, so now I got into a big thing with this kid who walked me over to the kiosk, and I'm like, I know how to use a kiosk,
Old man.
dude.
Come here,
This is-
Grandpa.
Yeah, I
Touch
know with the
screen.
concept. I can press buttons and stuff. I'm just saying you're standing literally 5 feet away from where she is. Like, you both have the register. You could just say, here's my order. And then we just handle it this way. And he's like, no, then he's like, and he's 18.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just work here, man. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know. I'm just saying why I'm debating with him about the CEO of Taco Bell's decision, months ago.
Yeah.
The one
to phase his job out entirely at some point.
Now
Sure.
for
Soft landing.
For eat driving, Taco Bell wins over, say, like Bueno, because for me, you want one bite of the burrito, and then you just bite the corner off of the fire sauce and just squirt it directly in your mouth.
You'd be cockied by hot sauce?
100%. But with the Taco Bell, it's like you're doing
disgusting.
a shot of salsa.
I don't like that at all.
And the lids that going everywhere, and there's sauce on your dashboard. You don't want that. So, yeah, Taco Bell for driving while eating. I support you, Dan. And the Crunch Wrap is the way to go.
It's very, very good. They've stepped the game up. So what time did you get out there? What time were you in the Muni lot?
Okay, so had to go pick up a guy and then pick up a parking pass. As you know, I love my buddy Joe because he works with the Cavs, so we get free parking at the Cavs arena. So we had to go, all this stuff, and finally got there. We probably got there 2 hours before game time to the parking pass. Went and had a slice at Slice. You remember that?
Of course.
Is that where we went?
The same exact pizza place.
Yeah, with Joe.
Had a slice of pizza there. Enjoyed every second of that. That's where I took a picture, Blake. We didn't notice it before. They have a payphone in there. And we were marveling at the payphone. Like, does it work? Does anyone use this payphone? So we took some pictures of the payphone, like, because like now that's like a monument. That's like the Otto Graham statue in Cleveland. There's an actual payphone, and people come from all over just to see it. So we just kind of walked through the tailgating areas, but then, didn't partake or anything because Joe was he was doing the media thing. So he wanted to get the pregame media meal. And I was invited by Sven, Sven, my 6'7" friend. He invited me into a suite. And if I'm going to go to a game.
Yeah, we know.
The suite. In fact, if anybody's tuning in today and anybody's like, oh, I'd love to invite the guys to a game sometime. I'm busy unless if you're like, hey, we have a suite.
Okay.
Oh, really? A suite? Like that's kind of the way God intended you to watch a game.
All right, let's find this limit though. Wings? Dallas Wings?
A Dallas Wings suite? There's no way they have that. Sure, I'll say yeah.
Well, Dan was a big Latricia Trammell fan, so now that they're parting ways,
they ran off their Roseanne.
Yeah,
they did.
So
you guys see they fired Roseanne?
Yeah, I did.
We just got to know her.
Yeah, I know. And I'm going to have to reorganize this whole thing now because what if they hire someone for somewhere else,
Like,
it's
it
insane.
could be anybody. Becky Hammond.
Okay.
So this suite, before I get to football, had a bathroom, like a private bathroom. So
that's
great.
there for one reason and one reason only.
Doing it?
Cocaña.
So when you walk in, there's a sink, and then there's a toilet next to it, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
It's a standard bathroom. Is there a mirror too?
So there's a mirror.
Wow.
But the mirror extends. It's not just behind the sink. It extends. It's the whole length of the bathroom. So behind the toilet. So I'm on the road. So I don't sit down on the road. I sit down at home, of course. So I'm standing. But now you're standing, watching yourself and watching your wiener
That's no good.
go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is too much mirror. You are wasting, first of all, valuable mirror money that you could just cut all these mirrors in half.
Mirror.
It's
money.
wrecking the economy.
Yeah, well, they've double paid for mirrors in this whole stadium. If they have a mirror behind every, sweet toilet, you could have saved a lot of money on making this stadium and therefore less, PSL price and all that kind of stuff.
And if somebody's washing their hands and you're urinating, they can, with the double mirror, they can peer over and have instant access to your ween and be able to see
it's
it.
one. There's no.
There shouldn't be two in there.
There's no two in there, yeah, unless it's a couple. Or good friends like me and Jake. We would go in there together. For sure. So anyway, just a word to the people making the sweets in Cleveland. I don't want to see myself doing that. And I'm like, God, is that small? Does it look that small to her? Like, gosh, I'm trying to work it up a little bit. So we go in the stadium, and my first game, I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I really like the obscure jersey game for whatever game I go to.
Sure.
I did this when we went to see the Cowboys in California, Blake. I don't know if you remember me asking you to check on jerseys.
I did.
But I came up with I saw a Joe Juravicius.
Wow.
That's a good
First
pull.
of all, would you be able to guess the top 3 jerseys at a Browns game here in 2024?
Baker.
Baker.
3 jerseys. Baker is not one of the top 3. He might have cracked the top 5.
Chubb.
Okay,
a lot
Chubb.
of them make it.
Chubbies.
Chubb.
Yeah, okay, so Chubb. This would be
There's
really
2 real obvious ones.
Myles Garrett.
That's obvious one, number 2.
Bernie Kosar.
Nick Chubb is beloved, by the way. Here.
Yeah, no, I
He loved it. He wrote like a Players Tribune thing about how he never wants to leave Cleveland. Oh,
yeah,
you did?
Yeah.
That's he's all the rage. And then he came back this week. It was so.
The contrast of
Chubb
him and Watson had to be interesting.
Oh my God. The third one, I think you'll never guess.
Okay, so is it Flacco?
No, he's somebody currently on the team.
Oh.
Let me hold on. Did we get
David Njoku.
Not Njoku.
Okay. Hold
Although
on.
I have a picture of him. I don't know if you guys saw him walking into the game. And his outfit. Apparently, he does this every game. You can pull that up if you
I
want,
saw
Rob.
that
But
earlier. Yeah.
yeah, David Njoku.
He looks like a
his
gay
bid is
cowboy.
Man, I just
Yeah, his bid is to. I guess he does this every game, and I just would think you need a little more. I don't know, maybe some all pros.
Is it Joel Bitonio?
He looks like he's in the Village People.
Jameis.
Yeah. No.
Damn. Okay.
Well,
We lost Dan.
you still there, Dan?
I'm here.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
we
there.
can't see him anymore. Okay, so who was it?
Denzel Ward. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
Yep, got
Really?
Yeah.
I
Oddly
guess
enough.
he's a first-round pick. He's been there for a minute, but I would have thought.
Yeah, he's multiple Pro Bowl guy, but
yeah, that is an
I
interesting.
wouldn't
one.
have thought that would have the third most seen jersey. Anyway,
the first
Joe
thing I did was
Juravicius-
just find. I was just looking like, all right, is there a white that I'm missing? Like, they sold Peyton Hillis jerseys like they were hotcakes.
That's my next one on the obscure jersey game.
Yeah.
I saw 2 or 3 of those.
What about throwbacks?
They got your Jim Brown and your, couple of Bernies. But Colt McCoy.
Okay, interesting.
Like, who's buying a Colt McCoy?
A Colt McCoy Browns jersey. That's very strange.
Right. Someone bought that. Phil Dawson, which makes a little sense.
The
He's from
kicker?
Lake Highlands.
Another
Yeah.
Longhorn.
Long time Browns kicker. He was there for, 15, 20 years. So that kind of makes sense, but
Still,
it's still the kicker.
I don't know. I mean,
it does make me think I need a Brandon Aubrey.
I was going to say, I think we could get away with a Brandon Aubrey, but other than that, and I would tell Brandon this, if you don't have him on your show or you're not related to him, you're probably kind of a loser if you buy a Kickers jersey.
Vinny Testaverde.
Sure.
Of course.
Which seemed pretty obscure. And then Joe Hayden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a run.
Yep.
Did he?
Kinda.
Not according to Dan.
So pregame, this was apparently it is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction weekend.
I did see something about that on the television during football, a commercial for it.
So that was kind of the theme of the game. In fact, who was it? Oh, it was Denzel Ward made a big defensive play, broke up a pass, and then did a big his celebration is a big guitar, just swinging his arm around like he's playing the guitar. So I don't know if he does that every game or if
he's done it before.
Okay, maybe it's not special then to Rock and Roll.
But it's special to Cleveland. He's just tributing the Cleveland rock thing. Yeah,
is he?
I think so.
Which I'm totally on board with something new than barking and dogs.
Yeah,
because. In fact, just this weekend they announced they have approved they're moving the stadium to Brook Park, which is kind of near the airport. It's out of downtown. The stadium's been downtown, of course, since the 1930s or something like that.
That sucks.
And it does suck because it is actually good for business downtown. Now, who is it? Jimmy Haslam will go ahead and just build his own Texas Live, but we'll probably call it something different right around the stadium, and he'll make all the money, and you'll have to drive out to a suburb and all that kind of stuff. So,
but now they'll have paintball downtown, Jake.
It's always going to be available.
They will have waterfront development. I've been hearing it's a good thing, and they're going to have a dome, so they're going to get a Super Bowl, so that'll be great, right?
Oh, I cannot wait to listen to the media bitch about that. Yeah.
We'll love
Cleveland in February.
Good, great.
But it was my point at the game to anybody that would listen to me was they need to retire the dog bit. Don't bring the dog pound to Brook Park. It shouldn't even be at this stadium. That was the late 1980s, early 90s Browns, which I was a big fan of. They started it. They started the barking. We threw I brought milk bones to a game.
Of course.
I have actually carried milk bones to a game. I've thrown a bone on the field. That's who invented it. Nowadays, they call it the dog pound, yet it's like the Wayne's World TV basement. It's just corporate. It's like dog pound brought to you by, it's, I don't play that.
No.
So I just want to put that out there if anybody's.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I haven't really
Jimmy
checked
Haslam
in on the Vegas situation with the Raiders. Do they still have crazy ass Spike guy and all that? I don't know. I haven't really checked.
Yeah, I don't know.
You probably got to let the bit go.
So pregame, it's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame weekend. They have the national anthem being played by Ozzy Osbourne lead guitarist Zakk Wylde.
Hell yeah. Did he have the black and white, mesmerized guitar?
Like a bullseye guitar, black and white bullseye? Les Paul?
You guys are more familiar with him than me. He had a big-ass, wild-looking guitar for sure.
No, you know how to spell Zakk Wylde.
It's got to have an E on the end of Wild.
It does.
And a Y.
And a Y.
It's W-Y-L-D-E.
Oh, and a Y.
You want to take a run at Zach?
Go ahead.
Z-A-K-K.
He just couldn't commit to the third K.
No. It's implied.
I guess so.
It's implied. No.
It is, because the first guitar I ever saw the guy play had a Confederate flag on it.
Not surprised. I had many guitar magazine Zakk Wylde covers pinned to my wall once upon a time. Dan.
He's in Pantera 2.0 now, right?
I think so, yeah. There it is.
I didn't send this to Rob.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Does anything say heavy metal more than
ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Jeez Louise.
Got a Browns jersey, though.
Yeah, here he is.
Okay. Stand corrected.
So then, apparently this is a thing they do every game, and from what I understand, they usually have an athlete do it.
Play
like
a solo?
local. No.
Oh.
After the national anthem, they will usually have an athlete go and they give them a guitar and they go up and smash it on like the guitar smashing stage, and it gets the crowd in a frenzy.
Okay.
So this week,
I like these bits. What is like Arrowhead does something like this, and Atlanta has one. Like ring a bell, or you do this or that.
But
it's
usually somebody like a local sports guy, whatever.
Right.
So they're like big and strong.
Mm-hmm.
This week they had strung out Flava Flav.
Oh no! Well, first of all, I do believe he's a few years.
Pull the video
sober,
up,
sir,
Rob.
but
we can describe the video. So,
oh no,
he's unable to break the guitar.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So I videoed this. This is in my suite. I'm taking a video of my.
All the fans are just waiting.
What is he on? Hit number 12 there?
Yeah, no, it's
still not even denting it.
Like the fret.
He's so tired now.
It's not even just that he didn't break it. Like it's all still intact. Like it's showing no damage.
I'm saying not even a dent.
There we go. The neck just snapped. Yeah, the strings
the
are
neck
holding
snapped,
it together.
But he never broke guitar proper.
That is all.
Like,
everything we're about to discuss is very Cleveland.
So Cleveland.
Give the guy, in Hollywood they
prop.
have.
Right.
You can't break a chair over someone's head. You would actually just kill them.
You need a breakaway
the chair is, it's made of balsa wood or whatever, and they just, same with a bottle. Don't hit your buddy over the head with a bottle thinking it's going to shatter like in Hollywood.
They'll die.
Yeah, you will just knock them out. The bottle will not break likely, and if it does, it'll just put a big, right into their neck.
Did anybody tell you how exactly they arrived upon Flava Flav?
I think he was there.
Was he being inducted for?
Oh, okay, maybe.
I don't know.
I feel like they.
They had
in by now.
Yeah,
like
I think
the
they
halftime show was who was it? Oh my gosh, now I can't remember. Oh, Foreigner.
Nice.
My God.
Yeah, and?
I had a bunch of people in my suite that were fired up about Foreigner.
I bet you did.
I was like, Jesus, really?
They got a couple bangers.
I gotta go watch Foreigner. Like, you gotta go watch Foreigner.
Hot-blooded.
Yeah, that's about all they did. They did Hot Blooded, and then they did another version of Hot Blooded.
Oh man.
Yeah, you guys just named the whole medley that they did.
I don't know. I think I've messed with Foreigner.
I've seen Foreigner in concert.
And I don't. Are they from Cleveland? Because I've just kind of always assumed that they were from somewhere like Cleveland.
I don't think so. But again, it's Hall of Fame induction weekend. But if you were there, it might have under their name 2018 inductee. It didn't mean that they were being inducted this weekend. It just meant they were somehow tangentially related to rock and roll. Yeah, like Flava Flav, Rock Hall. Okay.
Yeah, they've expanded it.
Yeah, Foreigner, New York City is what I'm seeing.
Ah, that's right. Where nothing is given.
Player intros. I was very interested in how everything would be received. Number one, because they were introducing the offense, and I thought, oh, this is wild because this is before the game, all the talk leading up to it. So I had been here a few days already. I've been hanging around with a lot of people, and the number one topic was Deshaun Watson.
How could it not be?
And how effed we are. And how, I was against it from the beginning, and all the, everybody has their own story of why they hate Deshaun Watson. I was trying to find anyone, like I was thinking think of all sports, any local team's athlete. Could there be a more hated guy or girl? Reese, I'll put you out there.
No, it would be really tough. It would have to be because even though like sex addiction is a thing, it's even shakier and definitely more stigmatized than substance. So it's not even really like he said, "Hey, I have a problem." Like if you kill someone in a drunk driving accident and you're an alcoholic, then people eventually probably are going to say, "Hey, this guy had a problem, and he's going to do his time." But you can't really do that for what he did.
Well, the main thing is he sucked.
I was going to say, then you make matters worse by being really, really terrible.
That is the main thing, and of course, it's that you had to trade everything and pay everything. So it's not like even the Panthers who traded everything, but then they got a guy they didn't have to pay him anything. If Bryce Young sucks, you'll move on and you'll get another one in 3 years. And really, that didn't affect the bottom line, and it didn't affect the rest of your team.
Yeah, I mean,
this affects the rest of your team.
It's not just the worst trade in the history of the NFL. Let's give it a little time, but I think it's going to go down as the worst trade in the history of pro sports.
Because Russell Wilson had something to say about that. That was a pretty bad trade Denver had to make. They overpaid, right away. That was a bad bid as well. But they were able to just kind of release him, and they still have a viable football team.
Yes. And it didn't come with all the baggage of, we're going to make you watch this guy that has no contrition at all for all these – the whole thing. It's got every single part of it. The only thing missing is something related to an underage person. That's about the only way the Deshaun Watson story could possibly be worded.
Are fans more upset with Deshaun the man or the organization and ownership, because it's not like there weren't red flags all over the place on all fronts to begin with?
Yeah, but his daughter said it was cool.
No, it's compounded by
the fact that he sucks.
People kind of liked Baker.
Yep.
And Baker brought them to the playoffs for only the second time since they've been back. And then he won the only playoff game in Browns history since 1999 when they came back. Like, that's their only playoff win. The next year, he did get hurt. He did fight through it and play all year. And he wasn't as good. And that was the year that they started, publicly exploring trade options for Deshaun Watson. And then Deshaun Watson took them off the list. Well, by that time, now you had pissed off Baker, and you had thought, well, we can't go with Baker, so we have to just, throw everything at Deshaun Watson to get him here, give up Baker for nothing, basically. And now you're watching Baker dominate, or at least play very, very well elsewhere. And you could have Baker Mayfield. You could have Joe Flacco, who was here last year, and he's still a viable. And they couldn't keep Joe Flacco. So most people are mad at the ownership if they really look into it a little bit, because they gave, before this season started, in the offseason, after what had been going on last year, they gave Andrew Berry, their GM, and head coach Kevin Stefanski extensions.
Ooh, I did not know that.
So if Andrew Berry was the one who said, hey, Jimmy Haslam, I'm willing to put my job on the line for this. We got to make this trade. We got to pay him all the money. I truly believe in this. If he was the one who said that this past off season, he would have been fired. But if Jimmy Haslam was the one that said, look, do this. I got to have this. Look, I'm the owner. A couple times I'm going to make the call. This time I'm making the call. Then he would say, man, I feel bad that I've put the whole team in this. I'm going to have to, I will give you an extension. And Kevin Stefanski, since you're the good soldier who every week goes up to that podium saying, you know what?
He's our quarterback.
I know he might be 520th out of 530 quarterbacks eligible for this terrible stat in since the year 2000, but he's really the best chance we have to win. That's why they had to get rid of Flacco, because they couldn't have that, just the controversy of him just sitting there. And that's why this week before the game, they actually demoted Jameis to third string, because the screams were getting louder and louder for Jameis Winston to get in there if Deshaun Watson is going to look this bad. Well, they just made him the third stringer. The excuse was, well, he had a bad week of practice. Okay.
Yeah.
How much practice, how many reps are the second and third stringers getting against each, So they brought in, Dorian Thompson,
Robinson,
DTR. Yeah. So, and then lo and behold, of course,
he gets hurt.
The Achilles happens, and then they actually have to go to DTR right before halftime.
And briefly, Jameis, right? Yeah.
Oh, later. So DTR gets injured on a interception. And they might have said, look, that's your interception finger that you hurt there. Now we're going to have Jameis come in, because they can only use Jameis if it's, a second injury. So They brought in Jameis, and it was really funny because by that time I'm in the car, and we're driving home listening to the game. By the way, at a Browns game now, and you saw this, if you want to beat the traffic, you have to leave in the second quarter because we left in the third quarter, and it was like a mob. It was like half the stadium was leaving. When we left.
That was a part of when you got back and you were like, I didn't think you left games early. Like you left pretty early, and I'm like, man, we looked around 7 minutes ago in the half, and it was half full, and I'm like, well, we need to go now. That game was I didn't watch much of it, but obviously saw all the things of the storylines. But also, if your game opens with getting a kickoff returned by a white for a touchdown against you, you're completely screwed.
Dude, you knew the day was really bad. Yes, some white guy.
Yeah.
That's my notes. I have my notes right here. Some white guy returns opening kickoff 100 yards.
You cannot give up a return touchdown to a white on the opening kick and expect good things after that. It's just Browns. It was all just very, very Browns. And then,
driving.
I was just going to say. The booing.
Hold on.
Okay.
So driving home, I just wanted to just wrap that up. The radio announcers. Did you know Andrew Siciliano is their main play-by-play guy now on radio?
Did not.
He's from Cleveland. The guy with the big ears.
Oh, yeah.
From the NFL Network.
Yep.
He's from Cleveland, and I guess Jim Donovan, their longtime play-by-play guy, got cancer or something, and so he's out, and then Siciliano has taken over. But he and his color guy were just kind of like, whoa, it's really something to see someone back there with confidence just step into a throw. Like they were ripping, second level, whatever, subtweeting, Deshaun Watson and DTR, I guess, as like they were talking about Jameis as if Tom Brady just came in his prime. They just couldn't believe how great it was to see Jameis on the field of play.
That's interesting. I mean, we've seen from Homer Call how different it is across the league, right? I mean, the one that obviously jumps to mind is the Patriots crew.
Very entitled.
Outwardly hated Cam Newton. Whereas, Brad and Babe would, Zeke for a 3-yard run, and they're like, oh, I thought he was washed up. Here he is walking the dog. It's like, it's just very, very different, but that's funny that the Browns get that latitude. So did you boo?
We need to find some Brad and Babe stuff from game 1.
Oh.
And compare it to like the Lions game.
That's not a bad idea.
Anyway, so yes, player announcements. They do the offense. Deshaun gets roundly. It was amazing.
That's so weird.
Really loud A-Rod back in Seattle type boos during player announcements.
At home for his team.
Before the game started.
It's not like
they're
it's
1-5.
It's not Stephon Diggs going back to Buffalo or something,
No. It's not a guy going back.
It's his team.
It's a guy who currently plays there and who is signed up for the next 5 years and so locked in that like they can't release him. Although
there's ways
they should just release him. But anyway, they've got the best thing that could have happened to them, in my opinion, right now. But they didn't end with Watson, the boos, and then they end with Nick Chubb.
Of course. They know how to stack this.
The place
show.
went nuts.
Yeah.
The place went nuts. They did get down near the goal line, and the whole place is chanting Chubb. It was awesome. As awesome as you could get for a 1-5 of an atmosphere you can get.
So then the injury.
In the beginning of the game, though, before they get to the injury even.
He was pretty awesome.
Huh?
Jameis was I keep saying Jameis, but Deshaun was actually not bad.
He was not pretty awesome. Go take a look at the numbers. In fact, every play that would happen, the TV, at least that I was looking at in the suite, I'd sit outside for a little bit, but then there's a couch and it's air conditioned. Why would I not sit in that suite? I don't want to waste money by having that couch in there and having nobody sit on it. They kept showing on the screen, they would show the completion that he had, like 4 yards down the field, and then they would show a guy like the wide open guy that was 15 yards down, like every single play.
Okay, it was one of those.
And if he threw 20 yards down the field into double coverage, they would show the underneath route that was 12 yards down the field, this guy running wide, like every play he made the wrong move. Did you guys talk about that article yet?
No, I was waiting on you.
The Bill Barnwell article?
No, I've read it.
And I saw Bill Barnwell article highlighted some of the problems with Deshaun Watson are not just his completion percentage, which is terrible, and his decision-making, which is terrible, all that, but it's the sacks that he takes. And he took a couple of sacks just like that. When you could have got rid of the ball, you could have sidestepped, you could have got away. Like, he's just like, it's almost like he didn't care at all. Like, well, I'll just take the sack here. I will still be paid $3 million for this game only. Whatever it is. Like, it's insane. Okay, now we get to the injury. And it's to me, it was as mild of a happy response by the crowd as it could have been. After the whole game, they're booing the guy. Player intros started booing him. All the talk leading up to it is we can't believe we still have to look at this guy. Why aren't they benching this guy? So it was all about how bad he is. And then he finally gets injured. And there was actually some polite applause on him leaving the field and like, hey, and we're going to act like we're just really classy here. But so predictable that every, player. Oh, in fact, I heard one of the so Tony Grossi is a sports writer, longtime writer in Cleveland. You may have heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
Was on a sports station. I was listening to that on the way to the game. And he was talking about how and he's there like he's like their David Moore. So he's at everything, every press conference. He's in the locker room at every media availability. He's at training camp. Every day that you can be there, he's there. He said, as this year goes, he has never seen Deshaun Watson talking to another player in the locker room.
I believe that.
Like he just lives in his own little bubble there. He never interacts with anybody. He is not friendly with the play. Like there's nobody like it's got his back type thing. On the sideline, same thing. If you ever watch a game, nobody's like going up after an interception or a tough drive or something and hitting him on the shoulder saying, hey man, keep your head up. Let's go. Or what, he's not walking up and down, like talking to wide receivers or like pumping up the linemen. He's sitting by himself. Okay. So heading into this game, he was already public enemy number one, hated seemingly by his team and by the fans. So then he gets injured and it's clear that he's being carted off and he won't be coming back this year. I thought the stadium could have started the wave right then. Like they could have hit celebration on the scoreboard or fireworks or whatever they do after a big thing. And they didn't. Yet the players, if you would listen to Jameis in his post game and listen to some of the other guys, have to do the bit of, it's just disgusting. It just sickens me that the crowd would cheer and all. Look, I was in Philly the day that Michael Irvin's career ended, and they were cheering that he got his neck injured and was carted off. That's what fans do, and it's always just, it's never 100% of the fans, So I don't know. I didn't think it was an egregious reaction at all.
Yeah, the players do have to play the part.
Everybody was thinking, this is great. This is great. Because now and I bet Stefanski's thinking, now I can just play another quarterback because that's what I've wanted to do. Hell, Jimmy Haslam is probably like, this is great because I might be able to recoup some of the salary just on insurance money. Like, it'll still count against the cap, but at least it won't be out of my pocket. So I think everybody, and hell, maybe Deshaun Watson is happy too.
I was going to say that. I bet he is.
Like, I don't have to go back and I think that's the last snap he'll ever take in the NFL.
I said that to Danny before we started today. I don't think it. I think that's it.
Why would he come? Why is he going to work really hard to rehab? To come back and be hated? He gets the money either way.
Yeah.
Well, hell, wherever he lands.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if he were somehow to work it out where, I don't know, he retired and then became somehow later a free agent. I don't know how the money works in that, but if he ever ended up on another team, what market is going to just open arms, embrace, and be excited about him being their quarterback? He's probably done. You're right.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I think that's it. And
who would sign him as their starter?
100%.
You know,
and where would he go where he wasn't going to be a starter?
Yeah, and
the only deal he could get is like a Russell Wilson just signed for like 1 year, $1 million with the Steelers because he's still getting paid by Denver.
Yeah, but he also wasn't coming off an Achilles. It would be hard to get another starting job in another city if you tore your Achilles and were fully locked in. But he's Deshaun Watson. I don't know, man. It's a fascinating story because of course, it's the Cowboys and the Browns are probably the top two teams, and when things happen to them, you're like, yeah, well, that's the Cowboys or that's the Browns. Like, it just seems like that everything that ends up being a crazy story about either one of those organizations, it makes total sense. Of course that happened to the Browns. Of course.
How about these big games I go to in Cleveland?
We were talking about it, man. Mason Rudolph.
I was there for Mason Rudolph, helmet, getting hit with his own helmet. Or was that Miles? Yeah. Myles Garrett ripped his helmet off, right? And swung it at him.
Yeah.
Got suspended for the rest of the year.
They're not I doubt they go to Jameis either, which is going to suck because I like having Jameis play every week.
I don't know.
Well, you know,
they can easily say he had a good week of practice.
Yeah, but they don't really want to win.
Well, I wonder. That's another good point. I was reading
now that they're 1-6.
Yeah.
Do they have their own draft pick next year? Finally,
they do.
Okay.
I was reading this earlier, and I was curious, Dan, if you, in some of the chatter around, native Cleveland fans up there, there was word that possibly they were considering trading Jameis by making him the emergency quarterback that day. But now it seems like you really can't do that because at least if you're not going to start him, you need a backup, right? Did you hear any of that? That the reason that they demoted him down to not practice, but emergency QB yesterday was because there was talk about them potentially trying to trade him?
There is an article here on
like
the Cleveland
website.
It says they would look at
what I heard was this is just chatter that it was because
he had a bad week in practice.
The cries to have him be put in the game. They didn't even want that to be an option.
But now,
so Stefanski had to demote him the third string because you wouldn't be yelling to put DTR in.
Because now you're faced with
yelling to put anybody.
Faced with the option of starting him, and then hey, you might win 2 or 3, maybe 4 games this season, or back him up to the guy with 2 last names, and then you can just tank-a-thon, baby.
So I was telling these
guys.
Go ahead, Dan.
Here's the big concern, Browns fan concern. Because, like you said, the Cowboys are going to Cowboys and the Browns are going to Browns. And now the Cowboysing is better because you can get to the playoffs and then you look like a fool. The Browns could never get it just going at all. Their concern is that they're going to get the number 1 pick and draft Shadur Sanders.
That's what I was about to say to you. I brought it up to these guys before we started. I'm like, man, for Dan, for all of it, I need the Browns to end up in a position to draft Shadur Sanders. But if you recall, Prime has already made his opinions about this known when he was asked about it. Of like, hey, this is a new day. Like, he was asked about Travis Hunter and he was asked about Shadur, and he's like, they're not just going to go anywhere. We're not interested in that. So they could end up in a position to draft him and just be told, no, I'm not going to Cleveland. Like, it's just not happening. So then they have to take Quinn.
I'll tell you, man. You think Quinn Ewers' body is big enough?
He's a big dude, man.
Is he?
Well, I mean, he's 6'2", 200.
Okay, I don't know. I guess
he's not
around
huge,
all those linemen. He just didn't look.
Well, I'm not saying I think the guy's going to be
obviously
great.
yesterday or Saturday you weren't thinking.
Yeah, I'm just saying right now he's going to be one of the top 3 quarterbacks taken in the draft.
I watched every snap Saturday that I could when we were switching over from the Indians game.
Oh, sorry.
I'll call them the Indians.
Yep. Yeah,
it's all right. Those upstart Yankees.
Well, at least we can still count on our plucky underdogs from the National League to.
That was the funny thing about the Mets. Oh, what a miracle season!
The third highest payroll in baseball or something. Yeah,
it's like no, the highest. They're like at $300 million.
I just knew the top 3 were those 3 teams, and then the old Gardiac kids at 25.
Yeah,
that would be hilarious if they ruined Shadur Sanders. That would be awesome. It would be even more awesome if it meant that Dion became the coach, which I don't think is crazy.
Dude, that'd be great.
Dan
I want it. Yeah, I want it all.
Dan would legitimately soil himself.
Mhm.
Like they could make Tiger life coach or something, and make Mike Tyson strength and conditioning, and bring back Bill Belichick as defensive coordinator.
Michael Irvin, receivers coach.
Michael, yeah, this is perfect.
I want life coaching advice from Tiger Woods.
Yeah, well, he's been through a lot. It's usually how it works. Okay, are we gonna stick around? Stuff?
If you'll have me.
Aw.
Aw.
I mean, I have to make my bed. That's about all I got to do left today.